My name is Maureen Enegren, and I'm the Executive Director at the American Red Cross Mount Baker chapter. The American Red Cross has a mission to prevent, prepare for, and respond to emergencies. And we do that in a variety of ways. We've been in this community for 93 years, and so the mission has changed a little bit over the time, but mainly we do it through three different ways. The first is our disaster services, where we provide assistance to individuals and families in our community who've lost their home because of an emergency, a disaster. And what we do mostly in that area is that we assist people who have lost their home because of a single family fire or a flood and find themselves homeless. We are actually deployed out in the middle of the night or the middle of the day by the fire department or the Division of Emergency Management, and come to the family home, perhaps in the middle of the night, and see that as the firefighters are coiling up their hoses to leave for the night after they've taken care of the fire or not been able to take care of it, the family is just sitting there wondering, what do we do next? Where do we go? Where do we sleep tonight? Where do we sleep tomorrow night? How do I get clothes for my kids in the morning to go to school? How do I go to work tomorrow? Just a variety of questions that the family has. The American Red Cross rolls up and puts a warm blanket around their shoulders and starts asking them a series of questions. And in that way we can sort of define what their needs are and how we can best help them. Ordinarily, if the family has lost their home and cannot get back into it, we will set them up in a motel for a few days while we try and help them to find a new rental situation. At that point in time, we will pay 30 days rent. We help people with food, with the motel charges, 30 days rent, clothing. A lot of times families get out in the middle of the night and they have nothing but what they were wearing to bed. So we provide clothing for each member of the family, shoes, and sometimes medication. We have nurses on our staff, on our volunteer staff, and can sort of define what it is that the family needs most. We're really, really proud of that. This last few years we've been very, very busy with that as the economy has tightened up. So it's been really, really busy and taxing. The second way that we help through disaster services is that we provide mass care services to our emergency first responders in the community. That can be fire department, police, search and rescue. Whatcom Middle School, when that burned down, we fed the firefighters. We were on scene by 2:30 in the morning and fed firefighters just to keep them able to do their job. So that's something that we're also really involved in. And third, in disaster services, when there is a major event in our area, a pipeline explosion, a major flood of the river, we sometimes end up setting up shelters where people are evacuated from their homes. We set up a shelter and we will house and feed them for the duration of the event. So really proud of what we do in this community for disaster services. Second one is that we train about 10,000 people in our community every year in first aid, CPR, and other health and safety classes. We have a babysitting class, we have wilderness first aid, and a variety of other classes. And it's not unusual to have someone come into our office and say, okay, I took your class, it wasn't really on my top 10 list of things to do, but my employer required it. But let me tell you what happened last weekend, and they will proceed to tell us a story about how they saved someone's life. Makes us feel pretty good. The third thing that we do is we provide services to armed forces and their families. So that can be communications. We have a 24-hour-a-day, 365-day-a-year communications link around the clock, around the globe, and can get messages anywhere in the community or in the world. And secondly, we help them with financial assistance. A lot of families who have a member in the military sometimes don't have the resources. If they have some kind of an emergency repair or something like that, and the Red Cross steps in and helps them. You can imagine with what's going on in the world right now, with troops deployed all around the world, our services have definitely been called on a lot. During tough economic times, the American Red Cross is called upon so much more. And this year we have seen a 35% increase in our fire response. And what we attribute it to is the economy. People are living in substandard housing. They're using substandard heating. And we're just seeing such a rise in our fire response. It's been definitely challenging for us. Also, the other thing that we're seeing because of the economy is that more and more families are doubling up and tripling up in rental situations. So instead of the family of 4 or 5 that we were responding to last year, all of a sudden we're responding to 11 or 12 people living together. So definitely has boosted our cost, and I think is really an indicator of tough times. You know, I think that the combined fund drive is such an effective way to have people donate. It's pretty easy. It's taken out of your paycheck. You don't really feel it. You don't really notice it. And it gives people an opportunity to make an affordable monthly gift that, or a one-time gift that can do so much good. And I just think it's the ease of giving is really the big thing there. Well, I'd like to just let folks know how it is that the American Red Cross provides our services. And we have a very modest-sized staff of 7 FTE paid staff who coordinate the efforts of more than 400 volunteers. So we are 98% volunteer. We really are good stewards of the donated dollar, and we can really stretch the dollar so that the money that is donated really goes towards the people that it's intended to help. And we feel really proud of that. The second thing is that we raise 100% of our budget every year, even though we are congressionally mandated to provide both disaster services and our services to armed forces. We do not receive any dollars from the government, and indeed raise 100% of our budget. So it's people in our community helping people in our community, and we're really, really proud of that.